This module is the Value Analysis Report. In this module, we will review the purpose of the VA form. We'll review what must occur before the VA report is started. We're going to review the policy and procedure for the VA report. And we're going to review the sections of the VA form and the required attachments. And then finally, we're going to fill out the form using a mini case study. So first, review the purpose of the Value Analysis Report. Well, the purpose of the VA report form is to implement the waiver of appraisal provision. The waiver provision is a federal regulation and a regulation also within the state of Ohio. The federal reg is 49 CFR 24.102, paragraph C2. And in Ohio, it's Ohio Administrative Code 5501 2-506, Rule B, 3B. Both regulations have the following mandates. The agency determines an appraisal is unnecessary because the valuation problem is uncomplicated and the anticipated value of the proposed acquisition is estimated at $10,000 or less based on a review of available data. When an appraisal is determined to be unnecessary, the agency shall prepare a waiver valuation. The person performing the waiver must have sufficient understanding of the local real estate market to be qualified to make the waiver. Only the OAC, the Ohio Administrative Code, which governs ODOT, has the following regulation. Persons preparing or reviewing the waiver are precluded from complying with standard rules 1, 2, 3, and 4 of USPAP, which is the Uniform Standards of Professional Appraisal Practice. To implement the appraisal waiver provision, ODOT created the Value Analysis Report form. This is also known as the VA or the VA report. The VA report form is meant to be a quick and easy way to estimate compensation when it's obvious there are no apparent damages to the residue. When it's obvious there is no diminution in value to the residue, there's no need to value the residue to determine the amount of damages, because to estimate damages requires a before and after valuation, which is, if we do a before and after valuation, it's the value of the whole before the taking, and then a value of the residue as cured. Those are two different appraisals. We subtract the value of the residue as cured from the value of the whole, and that gives us a mathematical difference. And from that difference, we subtract the value of the part taken, which was based on an allocation from the whole property, and that gives us total damages uncured. If we're doing a VA, we don't have to value the residue as uncured. Therefore, we don't have to deal with a difference. So not preparing a full before and after valuation on acquisitions having uncomplicated valuation problems and relatively low amounts of compensation can save taxpayer money because we can do less expensive valuation formats. And this allows the acquisition process to move faster as less complicated formats can be done quicker. Elements of compensation that are estimated using the VA report are: value the land component of the part taken based on an allocation from the whole property, value the improvement component of the part taken based on its contributory value to the whole. Temporary construction easements are generally based on the residue, but the residue is not valued in the VA report, so it's assumed the residue land value has the same unit value as the whole because it's obvious there's no damages to the residue. Damages, again, being a loss in value to the residue. Cost to cure can be considered, but only if they're nominal. And the aggregate amount of compensation for the part taken, temporary construction easement, and cost to cure cannot exceed $10,000. Only the whole property is valued in the VA report. It's considered in its condition before the taking. Any influence from the project is not considered. It's valued as a vacant site based on its highest and best use. Improvements to the whole property outside the take area are not considered. Only improvements in the take area are considered in the VA report. We're going to show you an example on the next slide. So what we're looking at in yellow is a single-family residential lot. In blue, we've got a single-family home. That green is a driveway going up to the garage. And the red rectangle at the bottom represents the road, and we can see the drive apron going into the right-of-way, meeting the edge of pavement. And then we have green in there, which are trees spread through the property. We have a 10-foot WD taking. WD means we take the fee simple interest, reserving the right of reasonable access to the property, to the residue property. And we have a 3-foot temporary taking that is behind the WD taking, and that temporary construction easement is for 6 months. So first we estimate the value of the whole. We're going to assume that the whole property is 20,000 square feet because the site's 200 feet deep by 100 foot wide, contains 20,000 square feet or 0.459 acres. Its highest and best use of the lot is single family residential. Comp sales for the whole indicate a value to the land of $30,000 an acre. The improvements in the take area, there's a tree, and the value of the tree is how much less somebody would pay for the whole without the tree. That's contributory value. And we're going to assume that is $250 for this mini case study. And we also have part of the gravel drive in the WD, and that gravel drive contains 120 square feet. We're estimating that at $150 per square foot. We're going to assume that it's 25% depreciated, which means it retains 75% of its value. So the contributory value of the drive in the WD area is $135. The residue, it's obvious there is no loss in value to the residue. It complies with zoning, no issues affect value, highest and best use is still single family residential. So now we're going to move to the right side of the screen. So we're going to allocate to the part taken. Part taken, land, again, it's a 10-foot WD. It's 100, the site's 100 foot wide, so we have 1,000 square feet in the take, which computes to 0.023 acres. We're going to multiply that size by $30,000 per acre, which is the unit value of the whole, indicates a value to the land taken of $690. We're now going to look at the improvements taken within the WD. There's a tree. We valued that at $250. It's contributory value to the whole. And there's 120 square feet of gravel that is in the WD. And the contributory value of that gravel is $135. Next, we're going to look at the part taken, the temporary construction easement. We know that it's 3 foot wide, goes the entire width of the property, which is 100 feet. Indicates 300 square feet or 0.0069 acres. The fee value of that temporary area is $30,000 an acre by 0.0069 acres contained in it, gives us a value to the fee of $207. We're going to calculate the annual rent, so we take the fee value of $207 times a rate of return, which we've estimated at 8%. Shows us $16.56 for an annual rental of the land within that 3 foot temporary area. The duration of that T is 6 months, not a year, so we reduce it by 50% to indicate $8.28, which we rounded to $8 for the compensation for the T. And so the total estimated compensation, taking in consideration the part taken land, part taken improvements, part taken temporary construction easement, is $1,083. It's time for a knowledge check.